Mavericksville Roast Beef in Roseville sets the bar when it comes to roast beef sandwiches. Every bite is a taste of perfection. Mavericksville Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, located off Lexington in Roseville.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Good morning, and welcome to Connections Radio Show, where we talk about ideas that matter. I'm glad you've made the connection and are with us today. I'm Lori Fitz, your host, and the goal of our show is to explore a wide range of topics that challenge us to see ourselves, our community, and the world around us, that gets us thinking, gets us connected, and perhaps inspired or challenged to do just a bit more because we've made that connection. And today we have a conversation with Prime Productions about their world premiere of Abuelita by Nathan Youngerberg and directed by Shay Cage. The show will be playing at the Capri Theater March 14th through the 29th. And this is a great story and celebration. A grandmother from Iowa brings her grandson to meet his Puerto Rican relatives in sweltering New York, 1993. Davia's world is transformed with music, dancing, and community. We'll be kicking off our show today by discussing the play with the playwright Nathan Youngerberg and the director Shay Cage. Welcome. Glad you're here today.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Yes. Nice to see you both. So I'm going to start off with the playwright.
Okay.
Nathan, so tell me about your inspiration for writing Abuelita.
Sure. So the initial seed for the play came when I encountered this really dynamic actor named Martha Wallner in New York City, who's part of Labyrinth Theater Company. And she is a mature woman from the South. And I was just really blown away by her charisma and personality. And I started thinking, like, I wonder how challenging it is to find, roles that, you can really sink your teeth into when you're a woman of that age. And so I was so moved by her after meeting her that I decided to write this play. And I got this whole vision kind of incorporating threads of my own personal life as a transracial adoptee and a queer man, kind of bring all these pieces together and create this story so Martha could have a play to jump into.
Oh, that's wonderful. So the storyline, help me navigate for me how the storyline works.
Of course. And I always like to clarify, it's not autobiographical. There literally are just kind of like seeds of my own personal experience. But yes, in the play, Davia, who is a white grandmother in Iowa, originally from the South, decides to bring her half white and half Afro-Puerto Rican grandson, Jesus, to New York to experience the culture of his father, who is unknown. And so they show up on part of a heat wave that's going on in 1993, and they encounter these New Yorican women and also a Cubano man that live in the building where they're subletting an apartment. And they're brought into the fold of this really vibrant community that's really rooted in, coming together and like standing up for each other.
How wonderful. In seeing it go from your idea and being inspired by this older woman to give a vehicle as well as a celebration, tell me how it's been to see it go to the stage. This is the first production, as I understand.
Yes, this is the world premiere production. It's always a journey, and it's always a very complicated journey. I am a single father of two young children, and I'm sure as Shay can attest, I compare theater sometimes to parenting. It's like equal parts beauty and insanity, and so sometimes it's like, woohoo, and the other time it's like, oh my God, what is happening?
Yes.
So it's been a long journey. I wrote the draft really quickly on two little small binder notebooks in New York on the subway and different places. And then Martha got it into the Labyrinth Theater's summer intensive. So we did the initial workshop in Bloomington, Indiana with Labyrinth Theater members. And then I connected with Allison and Shelley at Prime through a mentor of mine in New York that urged me to reach out to them. And we did a workshop, virtual workshop with them I think in 2022, and then went on to doing a co-pro workshop when I had my core writers residency at the Playwright Center. Prime co-produced a workshop that we did a couple of years ago. First in-person thing since the one in Indiana. And then there were some questions around like funding for the production. And then at one point it wasn't going to happen and I kind of gave up on it. And that's just usually the traditional stories, like you get really close and all of a sudden, oops, there's no money, we can't do it. And then I got an email. It's like, we got the money, we're going to go forward with it. And I was like, yes. Yeah.
It's like seeing your kid go off to school.
Yeah, it really is. And then getting to work with Shay, like we met years ago. She was an actor in a reading of another play that I did at the Playwright Center. And then I also know her husband, and we've had a personal relationship as well. And then getting to work together in this capacity has been super cool. So,
well, that's a great segue over to our director, Shay. Shay, you've worked on this piece. Has there been a special approach that you've taken to this piece?
I guess I would sort of want to say yes, but I don't know if that's true. I started in theater when I was really young. So I've been in the industry for quite a long time, not only as, a director, but an actor, producer, etc. And I love that we get to work on a new play. I love that the Twin Cities gets to roll out this fabulous story, by Nathan, that is a world premiere. I can't actually remember the last world premiere that I went to in the Twin Cities, to be honest, and particularly one from a person of color. So I think my style is just really approaching new work as it's new. It's literally developing. There are gonna be, twists and turns. We have to be incredibly alert and flexible. We have to ask a lot of questions. We just have to be really open. So those are the things that you would honestly want in any play development. But I think what's unique about it is being open to the unknowns and knowing that your agenda that you bring in the room as a director may have to kind of go out the back door because new things have been revealed. And it's like, okay, so then what is the rhythm of the play? I thought it was this, I've had it for a few weeks. I've been working on it. And you hear from the playwright who's living and actually in the room. And, you start to go, okay, yeah, let me just try something else. And that something else might work and it might not. So it's the thing that we live for as theater artists, I think, or at least I do, that the thing is actually living and breathing like a child, Nathan. And you're like, okay, they left home today happy. They came home upset. What do? Do I say anything? Do I just walk on eggshells? You navigate and they navigate. It keeps, it's an iterative process, and that's what's beautiful.
Well, when you share it, it reminds me of how I've talked to directors about being surprised by something. They're going one route and they find another, and that path is really the path that they need to be on, and being open to it is part of the challenge and the joy of directing. Have there been particular things that surprised you that you could share that as you were, the whole play is a surprise, right? Because it's a world premiere. But things that you came in assuming that you would be doing that now you've taken a little bit different route. Can you share one of those experiences?
There's been so many, there's always surprises with new plays. That's why people like us are like, oh yes, a new play. I think for me, there were some surprises on the front end, just in terms of like defining the aesthetic that Nathan, we have to create a scenic, landscape that can be the container of the play. And we want to be as close to what the playwright is imagining, but also for me, have room to explore. So I teeter on, okay, if this is a realistic world, like what are the non-realistic elements that we can have that allow more flexibility? So the surprise of from the visioning, from getting Nathan's script, getting the revisions, thinking about the scenic container, seeing the model, and then walking in the room and seeing the actual, scenic on Capri's stage, and thinking, is this what Nathan imagined? Because I love it. And seeing the actors like engage with it in a way that was that missing 10%, just makes your heart just kind of skip a beat, and you're like, oh, I love my job. I love my job. So yeah, that part.
Well, one of the things that makes my heart skip a beat is to have this play in the context of the Twin Cities in the last few months, to move from the pain and that we're still suffering through, that we still face with ICE and the challenges people in community. And this is such a beautiful celebration of community. Share a little bit about the context, and I'd like both of you to comment on that. I'll start with you, Shay, of directing this in the context of where we're at in the Twin Cities right now.
Funnily enough, okay, so I'll say, I guess my first comment is that I come from a culture and a community where not necessarily the show goes on, but life goes on. And that's not to say that we're not experiencing all the things that we are experiencing, but it is to say that particularly for folks of color, like us, we come from a history where we're often, right, the backdrop is always changing, and we're often going, okay, I got to beat that down and I got to move through it, and I got to still show up as my creative self. So I guess there's something that's not unique here in that sense of our resilient ability to just keep doing the work, because the work is a part of us and it'll always be a part of us no matter what is happening around us. But I do believe continuing to step in that brave space, the producers and Nathan saying, well, we're going to do this and we're going to figure out how to do it. And there's obstacles. So I think we hold each other in healing and wellness in the room, and we just do the work. Mm-hmm. So that's it. That's how I feel. And I could go on and on, but I was going to say at the very beginning is a Native American friend, Indigenous artist, is just reminding me the same thing. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, yep. And we got to figure out, like, if people show up, then what are we going to do? Because guess what? 10, 15, 30, 40, 50 years, our ancestors were dealing with the same stuff. So it's sad. It is sad. I have children, and people don't, we don't always have enough room to talk about what it took to get here. Mm-hmm. And so I'm fascinated when I hear Nathan say, I wrote this play on some, notebooks and riding on the train. And that makes me giddy. I'm like, wow, people write on paper still, and people make the room to be imaginative, throughout the corners and the creases of their life. So it's been a journey. I'm not going to lie, but we keep doing the thing, and that's what's special.
I love that you keep on doing the thing, because I believe that art shows the way, and art provides us with a different reality that we can embrace, and that for that moment in that theater, we can embrace that idea, that potential. Tell me more in terms of your reaction to that question, Nathan, about the context of where we're at right now. You were nodding when I was asking that question. So I had a feeling you had something more that you also wanted to share.
Yeah, so I am a New York-based playwright, but Minneapolis is home. I moved here when I was 18 in 1990, and I lived here for 15 years. And like, my people are here. I own a home here. So, watching everything unfold from afar was, it was a lot, while the rest of the country was starting to become more familiar with Minneapolis in this like really traumatic way. I was like, that's my home, and so there was some discomfort around like, oh, damn, we have to put this play on. Like, how is that going to feel? To try to then, go back and then also try to promote this thing. But we had an interview with Lavender, Allison and I did a month or so ago, and she made a really great point. She said, unless they declare martial law, like, this play is going to go up. And when you write a play too, sometimes you know what it's about, but then you don't know exactly what it's about because there's all these other threads that other people like. It's open for interpretation. And Shay had uplifted the fact early on that it's really rooted in caregiving and caretaking. And I hadn't really considered that before. And Allison was, leaning in a lot to like the inclusivity aspect. And, again, watching everything unfold from New York and checking in with my friends and my people to checking in with my friends and my people just to see that everyone is doing okay. And time again, the messages that I got in return were, we're all coming together. Like, we're showing up for this like grocery run for people. We're holding space for people here. Like, another friend was like, we're escorting kids to school. And I was like, that's the Minneapolis that I remember, And so then realizing when Allison said, it's like the timing couldn't be more perfect to share this play, because it's like inviting people to come in the Capri, to come into the space, share space together, and like participate in a show that is rooted in the very themes that people are enacting in the Twin Cities at this moment. So,
Well, I have one last follow-up for both of you. And that is, what do you hope people can take away from this play as they leave? With all the questions I've asked you up to this point, what would be your greatest hope that the audience member would be able to tell the next person about? You have to go see the show, or this is what this show has stayed with me, and these are the things that I'm carrying. What would you love to see for that?
Well, last night, something that you said, Nathan, really hit home for me just when we were, after the run and just were in the lobby talking, the intergenerational aspect of that there's something for everybody. I think, that's super important, right? Because you don't usually go to a play and it's like, my kids are like, am I going to like it? Is it going to be Shakespeare? Or am I going to like it? Is it going to be sad? And old people, of course, I think anybody over 30 is old, but I do believe that he has done such a skillful job in lacing the story with all the generations. So I think I would say that rises to the top for me. Plus, just realizing how I think the layers of love, that love runneth deep. And it really, we're reminded of all the different colors of it.
Nathan, share with me.
I would just say, like, I hope that anyone that comes will like see themselves in the play. That's one of the realizations I had last night. Like, I had my aunt and uncle who are white and in their 70s were there. And then I had a young Black queer friend who was there, and they both connected to the play, and not even just the characters that were their age, but the characters, because they're all going on the same journey. And I think once we all realize that and have that awareness, like, it makes getting along and getting through life so much better and easier. So yeah, I'm excited.
Well, I love that they felt a connection.
Yeah.
Here on Connections Radio Show, we celebrate moving to the place where we can feel connected, where we feel an us. And from all that you're sharing, it gets me more and more excited about coming to see the show and looking forward to it. And thank you for sharing your thoughts and your insights and your encouragement and your journey with us in this artistic production. So Abuelita is playing at the Capri Theater. It's going from tonight, March 14th through the 29th. The pay-as-you-are tickets can be purchased at primeprods.org. That's spelled Prime, PRODS.org. It's a fabulous show. I am looking forward to celebrating, not just seeing the show, celebrating the show. And we'll be right back after a few short commercials, and we'll be talking with the actors from the show and their perspectives. So again, thank you so much. Look forward to see your artistic handiwork.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back after a few short commercials.
Thank you,
Cafe
Lori.
Latte offers
Thank you
made
so
from
much.
scratch
Take
soups,
care.
salads, sandwiches, and mouth-watering desserts.
So come check out their pizza and wine bar or get a treat from the bakery made fresh daily. Plus, you can still do online ordering and takeout along with gift cards. Just go to cafelatte.com and choose from their ever-changing selection of award-winning salads, sandwiches, and soups. Cafe Latte is located off Victoria and Grand and online at cafelatte.com.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. The end of winter is finally on the horizon, and you're going to start thinking about all that nasty crud that's built up in your home over these last few months. Call my cleaning heroes at Zero Res to help get you an early start on the spring cleanup. Zero Res removes winter's buildup and lingering odors, giving your home a fresh, spring-ready feel. This month, get Zero Resified from Minnesota's #1 carpet cleaner. Buy one room, get another free. Buy another room of carpet cleaning, get another room of carpet done for free. Get the picture? Also this month, get a free size upgrade on every whole home air duct cleaning package. Don't you love when you buy your favorite beverage and get a free size upgrade? That's what Zero Res is doing this month with their whole home air duct cleaning package. Start spring cleaning with a free upgrade and pay less for more fresh. Call Zero Res right now, 9520-RES, or go online to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
With your AM 950 weather, this is Adam. 36 in snow today. Tonight, 22. Snow continues. And tomorrow, heavy snow and a high of 29. Step into Forts at Children's Theater Company. It's an interactive fort building adventure where theatrical elements and towering cardboard boxes spark shared creative play. Weekday availability during spring break, March 17th through April 3rd. Tickets at childrenstheater.org.
ATNF AM 950, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Good morning and welcome back to Connections Radio Show. And I'm your host. Our show is all about talking about ideas that matter, and I'm glad you've made the conversation today. So today we have a conversation with Prime Productions about their world premiere of Abuelita by Nathan Youngerberg and directed by Shay Cage. The show will be playing at the Capri Theater March 14th through the 29th. And this is a great story and celebration. A grandmother from Iowa brings her grandson to meet his Puerto Rican relatives in sweltering New York in 1993. Dalia's world is transformed with music, dancing, and community. In this segment, we have a chance to have a conversation with some of the actors from the show. So welcome, actors. I'm so glad that you're here today and to tell us about your wonderful experience in working with Abuelita. And I am going to start with Skylar Seiler, who plays Sonia. Welcome, Skylar.
Hey, hi guys. So I'm Skylar Seiler. I play Sonia. I'm so sorry. What was the question?
Actually, I hadn't started, but it's great. I thought you were just going to jump in, which is perfect. Tell me about your character of Sonia, and then we would love to know, something special about this experience of being part of the play. So we'll
I
start.
got you. So Sonia is a 15-year-old New Yorican girl from Spanish Harlem. Her mother dies 7 years before the show takes place. And so when the show is happening, she is actively moving back and forth through Connecticut with her dad and back in New Yorican Spanish Harlem with her family, with the family that we see throughout the play. She is really, when her mother died, it obviously, as a mother, as it would make one sad when a mother dies. She didn't let her kill her spirit, though. She always was a very big fashionista. The pop culture in the 90s very much was influencing her. I would say, Vogue magazines, the supermodel at the time was definitely up her alley. She definitely was really into ballroom after it coming up and rising in the 80s. And you get to see that influence in the show, too. Sonia is an outspoken girl. And her description actually is angel face, but street smart and savvy. So, I mean, you
And
got the right
sassy.
girl. Um, I think that's something special about this show is that this show really connects with all different kinds of audiences. Like, I feel like no matter what kind of ethnicity you are, no matter what racial identity you fall under, I think that you can find a connection to this show in different ways. Me being Puerto Rican, I got family that is New Yorican, and so I really connect with the show. But I notice that even people who are white can connect to this show in different ways and find themselves relating to certain characters, or even characters who or even people who are not a race that actually is like represented inside of the show. You can still see representation of like who you are as a person and connect to that cultural clash that happens in this show that turns into a cultural unity and a gorgeous like blossoming of like people.
Oh,
So
wonderful. And what a beautiful way to describe it.
thank you.
I'm going to go to Gabby Del Moral, who plays Yvette.
Hello. Hello, how are you?
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for joining us today, Gabby.
Thank you for having us.
So tell me about Yvette.
Yvette is a 55-year-old New Yorican. She is Sonia's grandma. Sonia is her granddaughter. And Yvette, she loves deeply and she's devoted to her family. She also is the emotional anchor of her community. And even though she carries this groundedness and calm inside, she's grieving because of the loss of her daughter to cancer, which is Sonia's mother. But she's still resilient and she's still trying to be involved with her community and how to protect and guide her community. So this play is actually very special because it actually it integrates everything about love, the importance of community, culture, identity. It's also humorous. It's just beautiful.
What a wonderful time to celebrate love and community.
Absolutely.
And to be able to feel connected in both the audience and on stage to a culture that is exciting and celebratory and filled with joy and love.
Yes, and that's what this play does. The importance of community, the importance of the value of who everyone is, and love. I mean, this place full of love, and I have to say, all around it is love. Yeah.
So even more reason to come see the show. Celebrate love together.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I am going to go to King Jackson now, who plays the role of Jesus. Welcome. I'm glad you're here, King.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So tell me about your role.
So, Jesus is a white and Puerto Rican boy who was raised in rural Iowa in a very predominantly white area in predominantly white schools. He's someone who's had to really go throughout his whole life not seeing himself represented and not really getting to know who he is because he didn't have any examples. His mother was a drug addict and someone who wasn't present in his life, and her death, which was very recent, about 6 months from the play, has a very prominent effect on kind of his psyche at the time. But playing with him has been quite a joy. I really connect with him as a neurodivergent character and also as a queer character who has not been able to explore that part of himself throughout his whole life because of his environment, his very white Lutheran Christian environment. They weren't very welcoming of him and his identity. So in moving to New York with his grandmother, he goes on a journey of self-discovery that isn't quite, voluntary in a way. He meets Sonia, who really pulls him out of his shell, like quite literally and figuratively pulls him out of his shell, and he starts to blossom throughout the play. And the way that you see it culminate in the end, I believe, is really, really beautiful and throughout the story. And it's a journey for everybody, and I've loved it.
And this is one of your first productions, isn't it? Did I hear that right?
I've been doing theater since third grade, but this is
Oh, so
one
you've
of well,
just
this
heard
is
all
one of
pro.
my first professional productions.
There we go.
This
There we go.
yeah.
Oh,
This
that's
this is
great.
my first professional productions, and especially my first at this scale. So this is having all these eyes on me is quite a new experience, but I'm excited.
Well, I'm excited to come see the show as well. Pedro Bayon, welcome. You are
Yes,
playing
hi.
Wilfredo.
Indeed.
Tell me a little bit about Wilfredo.
Wilfredo is a Cuban immigrant. He was a musician in Cuba and had to fled Cuba, so he decided to move to New York to, like most of the immigrants that I know of, coming in, trying to make a better life for himself.
And tell me about how you approach the role.
Him and I got a lot of things in common. We got the artistic side, and he's a musician and a singer, as I am. And I am an immigrant myself. I'm not from Cuba. I'm from Puerto Rico. But I know what it is to come to a new country and better ourselves, and looking for better opportunities.
Tell me about your experience in being part of this play.
It's wonderful to have share a stage with people of color all over, and telling our stories too. I just say that the themes that we touch and display are universal, and it will give you just a little bit of different perspective on where these people come from, but it's all about family and love and being with each other.
And being able to celebrate that together and
Correct.
learn on your journey. I've heard from the grapevine that you all are a very tight cast, and that you really love each other as well. And there's a great sense of community just amongst you as performers, which I'm sure will be brought to the stage and brought to the audience as well.
I hope the audience gets that. Yeah.
Yes. We also have the person who is playing Davia with us. And Davia, would you introduce yourself for me? The character.
Hi.
Wilfredo.
Yeah. I'm
Mary Gant. Mary Gant. There we go.
That's right. That's my name, Mary Gant.
Thank you.
And I have done other readings for Prime Productions, but this is my first, full production with them, and it's been a joy. I love the cast. Everybody's speaking Spanish. I'm loving that. And it's not, it's not an all Spanish speaking play, but off stage, everybody's speaking Spanish, and I'm loving that. And I think it's kind of who I am. I am a grandma, and there's other grandmas in the show too, but I am a grandmother, and I've lived in New York, and so there's a lot that I can relate to in this play.
And as you've been working on this character, tell me about some of the discoveries you've made about Davia.
Well, I think she's been living a kind of a loveless life for many years in her marriage, and she's become the primary caregiver of Jesus since her daughter had a lot of problems. And after my husband dies, I decide I'm going to start a whole new chapter and move to New York. And being an Alabama girl, it's very different. But the wonderful people around her have embraced her, and everybody gets sort of set free in a lot of ways. So that's always nice.
Always very nice.
Yeah.
I'm going to move over to Adlin Carreras. Adlin, you play Indigo, but you also have another role with the show. But let's start first with Indigo. Tell me about Indigo.
Indigo.
There we go.
Okay.
Yes.
Indigo. She is related to the family. She's a a lesbian living in New York. She was a caretaker for her mother for a long time, and she's kind of starting over herself. She's trying to build her new life. She's very, I don't want to say angry, but she has a big attitude. She doesn't like people to mess with her or the people that she loves. And it takes her a little bit to get to know our Davia that comes in with her grandson, and getting to know her and allowing her into her life, and seeing her as part of the community too, and part of the family. I'm enjoying this character a lot. So yeah, it's just been a really good journey.
So you also played another role in being a cultural advisor.
Yes, my role as cultural liaison. I've been working with this play with Prime Productions for a while now, for like almost 3 years from the time that they brought it to Prime. And we did a Zoom reading, and we did the playwright reading, and now we're doing this. And part of it was, hiring the people, trying to get the actors to play these roles who were authentic to the parts, and also to bring the community to see this show. We are a large Latino community here in Minnesota, mostly Mexican, but the second largest is Puerto Rican. I myself am an immigrant. I'm from Puerto Rico myself. And so getting together that community and coming and hopefully enjoying the show, or coming to see the show, it's been wonderful. It's been really great. And it's something that I've not really done before. So it's really exciting to do that also. And I think this play, it's just for everybody. There's family, there's love, there's connection, there's community. And it's just a wonderful show to come in and enjoy at this time, actually.
I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked our playwright and director in the last segment, about the context of the Twin Cities right now, and you being a cultural liaison that is encouraging people coming together. You're kind of a cheerleader for supporting us all to come together and celebrate. Tell me how that has impacted some of your liaison role.
What we have experienced here in the Twin Cities has been very, very difficult. Our Latino community has been struck in a way that I have never experienced before. I have never had to carry my passport. And even though I am a U.S. citizen, this face will be stopped anywhere, right? So living with that fear. But as Che had mentioned before, we are a community that is very resilient, and we support each other. And here in Minneapolis, as we have seen, everyone comes out to support. When those people were marching, 10,000 people were marching for us. When people are helping each other with groceries, with rent, and with just supporting each other, it just made us, for me, it made me decide, no, we need to come together, because that's what we do. As a community, we come together and support each other. And so this will be a chance for people to come and see a different side of the community, a place where people are accepted, where diversity is like the best thing ever. And it's not something that is a negative, that the more of us around, the more diverse that our communities are, the better it'll be for everyone.
I would love to have everyone comment on that as well. And what I'd love to have is our friend Mary, who plays Davia.
Yes.
Share with me how you feel the context and your role in this play, and how this has impacted you in the context of what we've been surviving here in the Metro Surge.
Well, I'm a born and bred Midwesterner, and I have lived in New York City, and it's where it's very diverse, which I always enjoyed. And my house is 10 blocks from where George Floyd was killed, and all these changes in Minneapolis have been kind of amazing. I'm living through a lot of it because I was in New York too, and I'm amazed at what they call Minnesota nice, which is doesn't cover it enough. The people here are unbelievably kind, and for the most part, very inclusive, especially in Minneapolis. So I feel like I'm in a little New York, mini New Yorkie kind of situation.
A mini apple?
Yeah, the mini apple. That's right.
I'm going to go to Gabby. Gabby, share with me.
Yeah, and can piggyback a little bit what Adeline was talking about, with what's going on here. I'm from Venezuela, and same, even though I'm a US citizen, I had to carry my passport. And, this play, it actually shows that importance of community that we have seen here in the Twin Cities. And without giving spoiler alerts, but there's that importance of coming together at the time of need. And that's one of the things that I love about this play, that it's very timely. Like it could not be premiering in the best time that it is, because it's very powerful, the message.
Skylar, I see you nodding. Share with me.
Yeah, I think that this show is really of the times. I think that right now, not only is this show heavily about like Latino culture, but this show is also about LGBTQ plus culture. And both of those things are being very targeted right now. I think that me as a trans performer, it's deeply rooted for this show for me, especially my character being so connected to the ballroom community, especially in a time like the 90s, where being gay and being trans was still not at a point where it is today. For sure not. I think that there's so much to this show that no matter like what minority you are, you feel the love that this show sends off and the community that we have to make for each other, because we don't have the opportunity to stop. We always have to keep moving. And in that movement, we still have to be there for each other. And this show gets to be one of those moments, which I love. I love that we get to present this opportunity of unity in who we are and all of our beauty of our culture, and get to show it off so that our people and the people that love us appreciate that for us.
What a gift. King, share with me your thoughts.
I believe that it is so resilient for us to be showcasing these beautiful Latino performers on stage, on Broadway in Minneapolis, in a time like this where it's terrifying to go out being, being Latino and literally being in your own home in Minneapolis. It is so terrifying, and many people are staying home and not able to attend school or jobs or any of their daily life. So I believe still putting on this show despite all of that is so resilient, and I think it is exactly the kind of show that needs to go on. It is what people need to see at this moment.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I feel like we've gone from a high point of resistance, but now we need to restore. And in that restoration needs to be an affirmation of love and the affirmation of going forward in a deeper and even more powerful way. Pedro, I'm going to let you share as well.
Yeah, I often wonder what happened to this, everybody's free, everybody's accepted, the melting pot, of America, and now we find ourselves being kind of persecuted and demonizing the other just because of their religious or whoever they are, right? So the LGBTQ community, the Latinos, the Somali community. Bad Bunny performs at a Super Bowl and everybody's, he's doing it in Spanish, he's gonna wear a dress, and it's like his message was about love and embracing everyone. And I think that this play does that. There's always there when somebody comes from a different community and joins this other community, and you could see that a little bit on the play. There's always the stereotypes, and there's always who are you, right? You don't belong here. But once we start embracing the other, community forms, right? And those connections pop, and love always conquers all.
And with that, I want to encourage the audience to come and celebrate love with this wonderful cast, with this wonderful play directed by a wonderful director. It's Abuelita, playing at the Capri Theater, March 14th through the 29th. The pay-as-you-are tickets can be purchased at primeprods.org. That's spelled Prime, PRODS.org. Thank you so much for sharing your talent, your art, your heart, your vision, your joy. I look forward to coming to see you in the play, and I am encouraging all of our audience to come see this amazing play, Abuelita. And we'll be back with the producers and executive directors of our great Prime Productions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Winter reading, losing yourself under a blanket with the fireplace blazing away while submerging yourself in a book and trying to finish just one more page? Winter nights are the perfect time to read, and that's where Next Chapter Booksellers can help. They're independently owned and have all the bestsellers and new releases. Not sure what to get? Their friendly booksellers are great at recommendations. That's your winter reading headquarters.
It says I'm in the show.
Brand. More.
Are you in the show? Am I in the show? I'm in the show. Can you hear me?
Hey, it's Tom Hartman from my friends at All Energy Solar, and I want to talk about something most people don't consider.
Allison, can you hear me?
Energy independence isn't just about saving money. It's also about what happens when the grid goes down. Severe weather, aging infrastructure, unexpected outages, they happen. And when they do, most homes go dark. But not homes with solar and battery backup from All Energy Solar. Here's what makes it work. Solar panels charge the battery during the day, so when a storm hits and a grid fails, your home stays powered. Lights, refrigerator, medical equipment, whatever matters most keeps running. All Energy Solar is certified by both Tesla and Enphase for battery storage and has been installing complete solar plus battery systems since 2009. Minnesota battery rebates are also available. Don't wait for the next outage.
You can't hear me.
Visit allenergysolar.com or call 800-620-3370 for your free evaluation today.
For delicious gourmet popcorn,
Can you hear me?
POPPED corn.com has you covered. Popcorn
Thanks,
offers your
everybody.
favorite flavors ready to go. Cheese made with real cheese, their classic mix. More than 80 great flavors. Enjoy featured flavors like Shamrock Caramel and their tasty fudge and
All
nuts.
right, I'm
They
going to
sell their
try it one more
popcorn in various
time.
bag, kit box, and tin sizes, and they ship across the USA. Visit popcorn.com and enter in discount code MATT to get 10% off your order. That's
I can't.
discount
Can
code
you hear
MATT
me? Can you hear me?
at popcorn, POPPED corn.com,
No.
and make
Can you
everyone
hear
smile.
me?
Welcome back to Connections Radio Show, where we talk about ideas that matter. We have been having such an amazing conversation with Prime Productions about their world premiere of Abuelita. That's by Nathan Youngerberg and directed by Shay Cade. If you missed the first segment, please listen to us. We're on am950radio.com, and you can look up Connections and you can listen to our segments that you've missed. But you're joining us now where we are able to have our producers and executive directors of
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but you can't hear us. Neither of you can hear us, it looks like. Well, this is going to be interesting. Adam, do you have a magic way of getting them on stage? And
Allison, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay.
I will attempt
you
it.
can't hear us.
Can't hear you.
I'm hoping that perhaps Adam can let you know that we're on air. And if you would like to just start talking about the show, otherwise, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share about what this great show is all about. This is a great story about celebration. It's about a grandmother who has come from Iowa. She's bringing her grandson to meet all of their Puerto Rican relatives. And it's in the sweltering New York of 1993. And Davia's world is completely transformed with music and dancing and community. It's fabulous. Allison and Shelley, I don't think can hear. So I'm going to ask our engineer to bring Gabby back.
So Abuelita is this amazing play that we discovered sort of by accident. A friend of mine, the mentor that Nathan mentioned, had mentioned him And it was a time when we were doing lots and lots of stuff. And so I sort of like, oh, that's great, sure, sometime. But I stumbled onto an email that he had sent to us when we had a third partner. It had been sort of gotten lost by the wayside in her email box. And I read the play and I went, oh my God, this is the play for us. And so I sent it to Shelley and she read it. And we both went, we have to do this play. But it's been a journey in terms of finding the funding for it. And but we're so excited that we finally got some funding, and tonight is opening, and we're very excited that the time has finally come.
Shelley, I loved hearing about how you said to the world, essentially, we're doing this play. We are going to do this play, even with all the
So
challenges.
let me jump in here, if you don't mind. I just wanted to say, when it comes to the pitfalls and the journeys that we've had, it has been a roller coaster. I mean, if you want to take it into even what started like 3.5 years ago, we actually were going to do a live reading at the Capri. And at that particular time, we were coming out of the pandemic, and all of a sudden there were 3 companies that shut down that week, 3 theater companies. So within 24 hours, we pivoted and we did a digital reading on Zoom, and we had almost 250 people who were there, who were listening, who were watching it. And they had parties in places like, they wore their mask and went into party rooms and condos and stuff. So that was the beginning. Then going into the casting at Playwrights Center, they had to bring some people in New York because the bench for older people was kind of low. And then now here, we actually lost a grant because of people didn't think that they just wanted to keep us in our lane, that we couldn't produce this because we weren't in the right community to do it. So it's kind of been it's been a celebration for us all the way through to get here where we are.
How wonderful. Allison, can you hear me okay? No, that's all right. So what I'm going to do, Shelley, can you hear me? No, that's okay. I'm going to do my last question here with my friend Gabby. Gabby, just if you want to just give a good reason why you think folks should come see the show.
Everyone should come and see the show because it's very relatable to every person, every race, every gender preference, everyone. This is a community-based, loving story, moving, and there's humor in it. There is, heartwarming moments. It's just beautiful written, and actually, for me personally, it's such an honor to be part of this production.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm going to now encourage the audience to come see it. Abuelita is playing at the Capri Theater March 14th through the 28th. Go to primeprods.org. That's prime, PRODS.org to get your ticket. Thanks so much for joining us today on Connections Radio Show. What a wonderful celebration of love.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Located just north of 50th in France, the Great Wall Restaurant has provided a delicious taste of authentic Chinese cuisine since 1981.